Welcome. Are you sitting comfortably? Are you focused and not thinking about whatever's bothering you these days? I'm not here to test you. Please relax. Let your thoughts come and go and listen as they fade away in the distance. For better or for worse, this is where your life has brought you. Looking at a screen, listening to me. Imagine, for a moment, that you've just had a child. It's healthy, but unfortunately also completely blind. For their whole life, they will live in the dark and not see a thing. Their perception of reality is something that you might never be able to comprehend. How would you describe the world to them? What can't be touched or heard, smelled or tasted? How would you describe sunlight? By what it does?
This
Or
guy
how it
reminds me
feels
of
on their
David
skin?
Attenborough.
I think I'd play them this piece of music. First composed by Tchaikovsky in 1878, these rays of light have traveled through decade after decade, finally reaching your ears this very moment. You have also traveled far to get here today, but you're only passing through and should probably get going.
Krisha, guten Mittag. Do you not have options?
While you're here, I'd like to tell you a story. It all happened to me when I was young, walking in a forest much like you are. Those were days filled with boundaries and rules, of no running in the hallways, don't do this or that or the other. With my world full of fierce discipline, I walked the forest to breathe. One day, deep in the woods, I found a funny-looking tree, crooked, old, and wrinkly. With little work, a few bits of bark became huge
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I turned subtitles and I know that for a
ships.
Calm creeks turned to ferocious oceans. I can still recall the people I imagined dragged downstream with a sense of guilt. As I gazed back upon the old tree, I noticed something peculiar. It was crying. Every crumpled, like eyes closed tightly. Clear drops streaming silently down its wrinkly skin. So I did, as children do, tasted it. Not because it looked tasty, but to figure out what it was. The first drop made my tongue tingle. Second made it prickle. And the very moment the third landed on my tongue, a profound sensation.
I have no idea what's
spread through
going
my
on
chest.
here. Now that this big old
Undefinable,
tree
like
has
thirst,
voice of
both
the
vague and specific. But one thing was clear.
older
Something
man.
was changing within me.
The voices are coming from some.
remember breathing in
And out.
feeling the fire.
So yeah, that was an experience. Let's hope this game is really pretty. The voices are a bit concerning, but that's okay. Warum klingt das so, als würde einer ein Ritual versprechen? Ja, wenn They're just trying to summon a demon. Hey there.
The following day,
I woke to a slight prickle in my fingertips. I studied them closely, discovering
circular ridges in the foreign landscape of my skin.
The prickling soon slipped my attention. It would need another week until it returned.
A wave of gentle needles moving over my skin. A limb falling asleep, perhaps? I did not start worrying until it returned the third time. First making its way up my neck, before engulfing my skull completely from behind. I could even feel the tiny needles covering my eyeballs. But it did not stop there. I held my breath as the small thorns crawled over my lips before spreading into my lungs and stomach.
My awareness spread with it, and I remember the strangest sensation of my mushy dinner in there, as if it held its remains in the palm of my hand.
The tree's talking. That's what these voices are. I'm so incredibly confused. What am I supposed to do here? I got a flower. I assume there are more flowers. But the hell? What is going on?
Suddenly,
My body took control and
And opened my mouth.
an explosion of air rushing into my lungs.
The tingling spread with it through an endless web of veins. Soon reaching my
Beating hard. For a moment, I stood in awe of the activity within my body.
What can I even do? I can pick up flowers and place flowers. Look around and walk, but that's basically it. Okay.
I felt my heart beating faster.
And my skin sweating. Your body is your only vessel in this world.
And when it misbehaves, the claustrophobia is total.
Seek help, I thought. And at that very moment, the tingling shot from my brain down to my spine.
I felt them scatter through my upper leg.
My muscles contracted to lift my knee. My body weight shifted forward, and
And
a
a shockwave spread from the foot sole as it landed softly on the ground.
Avatar.
The process repeated itself in greater detail for every step.
I was overwhelmed, but my body kept moving. I did not at all
Feel like the boss, giving directions. It all happened automatically.
And I was simply along
for the ride. Like you.
I don't know, I'm just here. Sprachen davon, wie unser eigenes Feuer führt, und die Feuernation ist da. Oh, jo.
The doctor's office was cold and white. Crossing the floor felt like a polar expedition. My parents, distant features of the landscape. I wanted to explain, but was unable.
I don't know, guys, but this kind of feels like a
Intricate choreography.
drug
Myself in
trip.
the audience, observing the words performed.
My lips muttered, I'm sure it will pass.
While my thoughts were crying for help.
There is something, I don't know what it is, but it sure is something. I'm just picking flowers.
The conversation
Kept going, but I stopped
paying attention. Instead, I was following the hands of a clock mounted on the doctor's wall.
They were both speeding up and slowing down.
I was slipping further and further away.
A levitating camera
In a video game, merging with the code it was running on.
Again with the binary, with the electronic circuit and so on. I closed my eyes and let my sensations lead me. First, I spent some time with my bones.
Among their many functions, I got lost in their continuous breathing.
Oh, but just keep talking to your bones, I guess.
Absorbed.
And release. Even my skeleton was alive and living, in and of itself. I could feel my mind clinging to the known,
To the clattering of thoughts, the buzzing of memories and fears of the future. But for each breath, tension was released and my shoulders sunk comfortably.
It had certainly felt like I was in there, somewhere behind my face. But I was nowhere to be found. And the more I looked, the more hazy I became.
I'm basically just wandering around, waiting for the weird talking to end to go pick another flower. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. We live in a society
When my eyelids eventually opened, they felt as slow as a sunrise.
Photons converted to neurosignals shooting along the optic nerve, each carrying a piece of information into the darkness. The brain categorized motion,
Colors, edges, distance, a separate moment in the dusk. Watching the sunrise. When the world eventually lit up, I was no longer wondering why matter lights up from the inside. My experience had changed from the fire to the light it emits. But it would get much stranger still.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess it wasn't this. I said we will be touching grass, but I thought we were talking about this type of grass on the floor. This sure is a trip.
As the moment stretched, I started daydreaming, or so I thought. It began as a shimmering field creeping slowly in from the periphery of my vision. The hands of the clock
Still moving, but among them vague shapes. Slowly, but surely, I saw trees falling past me, and among them,
myself, sitting right there in the doctor's office with
a vacant expression. While walking around myself, I was surprised to still see the clock straight ahead.
myself from the side, the clock on the wall. The two images were not overlapping, they just coexisted. Like imagining a familiar place.
With your eyes closed, and you see both nothing and something at the same time. I turned to look towards myself, but saw only the face of the doctor.
Lingering somewhere between confusion, concern, and annoyance. However, when I studied his face closer, I was struck by terror. The image of myself had turned to look straight into my own eyes. I felt my own hand
Reach out towards myself. The weight of my hand landing softly on my own shoulder. Eyes distant.
I mean, the concept is kind of like with all the voices just moving at once, and when you get closer to a tree, the voice gets the voice is of a specific tree, but it's rippy as hell. Not gonna lie. It's trippy as hell. I guess this is like a deep philosophical game, and I'm just sitting here being like, I'm stupid as fuck, please help me.
is spreading.
A delicate wave of nostalgia washing over me. Intimate recollections of past sorrows, relationships, education, and even medical experience.
And at last, I was no longer alone. Not in the sense that the doctor was there in the room, but rather that we were together in the darkness of my mind. A vast number of sensations were still flowing, but now with two observers to share the burden.
Orange grass.
Somewhere out of sight,
a hand picked me up. And as I kept breathing, the fire kept spreading. Soon it swallowed my parents, sitting in their chairs,
doubting my story.
I felt contradicting opinions and ideas coexist, but not in conflict. Different notes in harmonious chords shaping a balanced, indivisible whole. More clouds spread into my vision, and more sensations through my body. The
This
music
is all a dream? Oh yeah, it
was
sure as hell
evolving.
feels like one.
I looked at my hand. 5 fingers against the surface felt no different than 5 bodies or minds. branches becoming aware that they were connected to the same tree.
All along. Their experience, my own. All of them.
present in my mind.
I wonder what this game studio was thinking when they. Then when I literally take drugs and like had this fever dream of a trip, and I was like, yep.
The prickling kept spreading. Each needle on my skin, another presence in my mind.
More and more observers sharing the burden. A vast number of sensations flowing.
The David Attenborough guy.
My world, like musical sunlight, just passing through. Every individual going about their business, strangers on the street unaware that they were all each other, their surroundings, and me. I knew and felt him all as I knew and felt myself. And I could no longer feel contempt, or that anyone was somehow less deserving. There was no longer me and you, no us versus them. It was all just me.
As I kept breathing in and out,
Each new breath pushed me along a ubiquitous landscape
That was simply too beautiful to ignore.
What lay past each tree and beyond every hill was another idea I knew to be true. Mountains, transient shadows of matter flowing through time. Slowly from one point of view, but for the mountain itself, oh boy, it's in a hurry, like everyone else. Both the whirlpool and the stream, an expression of energy floating through empty space.
all experiences merging to one. There I was, all of us, you, me, I. The light that shines through the film. All else is smoke and mirrors.
I don't know if I want to. I have no idea. I'm just out here.
As with all stories, this one also ends. Not because the story has an ending, but because it keeps moving, leaving us behind. My body kept living, like yours will, with surfaces preserving its illusion of separateness. The screen, our very own eyes. I couldn't tell if I ascended or dissolved. I'm soaring through space,
but unable to move, nevertheless. And as I turn in orbit, the boundary between light and dark keeps moving.
A cascading wave of force arriving at dawn, just to slip away at dusk.
Operational. Oh man.
A violent competition on a speck of dust suspended in nothing. An energy field fumbling in the dark, trying to describe myself. I want to be safe, well fed, not too warm, no too cold, to be acknowledged by my closest. So even though you are another part of me looking back,
You will always be a stranger, a lump of resources. For my exploitation, the branches cut, our hemispheres separated once again.
Rocks, skipping along the surface, never sinking in. The inconsistent dash of beauty between the noise, picked up by a stranger with good intentions, and with it, sentenced to die.
I don't care who you are,
or how you found me. But we are both reaching in. A few lonely rays, venturing through space in just the right direction. Absorbed in our leaves, stored as sweet sugars, and exhaled as crisp and clean oxygen. And while the light warms our skin, or while we wait for the next sunrise, we breathe in and out. All that matters is that you are here, right now. And
for a moment, we are together. You and me as one. Like we always are. And we always will be.
This is getting kinda fun. Voice disappeared and Pork. Looking at the aftermath of the forest is the whole game was just out picking flowers. Down. Is this what it feels like to touch grass? Well, the experience in the forest sure felt like touching grass, but not the type of grass I was thinking at first. Memento mori. Right. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's how I feel. All who wander are lost. It's so beautiful though. The art style of this game is impressive. Yet we are none. Help yourself by helping others along the path. Assuming we're seeing messages of all those who also played this to the end. You can claim it Trump. So depressing, but I guess that's the whole meaning behind this game. Yet you see all the trees cut down or burned down and these are getting less and less. I guess I'm getting farther away from the forest. I can claim this trunk. I want to leave a message behind. I'm not so sure. I mean, I have to enter something. Have you tried abusing the grass? Neither? I don't like mowing the lawn. I couldn't do anything with the grass in the game, and the other kind of grass I have never had. Ja, Krisha, ich würde ja was Schönes schreiben, wenn mir gerade irgendwas Schönes einfallen würde. Derp. Yeah. My brain is like, what? Nah, all I could do in this game was wander around and picking flowers and listening. That's all. They only made the A button usable and the control sticks. Yeah. The game's so inspirational and philosophical, and I'm just sitting here being like, shit. Okay, Krisha, du hast mir gerade eine Idee gegeben. believe, not believe. There we go. You can still wander around even after you've claimed the trunk. An outstretched credit roll, voice actors, music core. Oh my god, like there was so many people involved with just the voice acting, but yeah, I mean the whole forest was talking. Oh, it's a Norwegian game. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Mark. Question, is that German? What's German? What Krisha and I are talking right now? Yeah. The air, to the air we breathe, to the love we found. I mean, I'm playing this game in English, so I'm talking English right now, but if someone German pops up in my chat, I answer them in German, obviously. We're still lonely being together. I don't know, this is such a depressing landscape, but I kind of feel like wandering around a bit more to see what other people post down. Miss the forests. Time. I'm so sad. I'm sorry. Hello. May love always lead us forward. Good life in the sun, the end. Find the way eventually. Unnamed Sock, guten Mittag. Mir geht es ganz gut, ich habe nur jetzt das Spiel... Jesus Christ. Help me. Okay, that's even more depressing than I'm sorry, to be honest. Wo war ich? Ja, mir geht's ganz gut. Ich habe das Sunlight hier schon zu Ende gespielt und jetzt bin ich am etwas deprimierenden Ende. Man war halt in dem Wald und jetzt ist man ist jetzt in einem Stück gelandet, wo der Wald halt eben abgebrannt ist oder abgeholzt wurde und man hat während des Spiels Blüten aufgesammelt, die man jetzt niederlegen konnte und auch einen Baumstumpf für sich vereinnahmen kann, um dort eine Nachricht zu hinterlassen. Das habe ich jetzt schon gemacht. Okay, I don't think I want the... Do I want this word allowed in my stream chat? I'm not sure, Tofu. I think I don't. But neat, you picked up German as a third language. That's good. I only managed to properly learn to, like, I had Spanish as a third language, but I got rid of it as soon as I could in high school. Here sleeps the humble wolf amongst the trees. Okay, I can't read that. Things will go as they will, and there is no need to hurry to meet them. Yes, that's Norwegian. Wait, does Norwegian have the R-E? Whatever you're feeling, it's okay. What? Hey, wait, which trunk was that? Your life will shine on. Take a breath and take a step. I don't know, this is depressing and inspirational at the same time. It's so sweet. What kind of messages people left behind if, well, they're not I'm sorry or... okay. But Meridas is not the destination, but the journey. Ja, den ganzen Tag da rumlaufen, Nachrichten lesen, yeah. I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing. You have to go through that half an hour of a trip, but then you end up here. We have but slow-moving sunlight, dance among the trees. I think this is a very niche game. I don't know if they put any filters into place. I mean, I didn't write anything that would trigger a filter. I assume they have like basic filters going on. There are not too many messages here. They're mostly extremely sweet. I assume I'm getting farther and farther away from the point where you come out of the forest initially, so bouquets and the messages on the trees are getting less. Off yourself. There we go, that's an off yourself message. Erstmal das Game holen, ums Blumenstrauß suchen. Well, good luck finding my bouquet out here. And it really wasn't the experience I thought it would be. In all aspects of it. It was so trippy and kind of weird, but then we ended up in this place, and this is... as depressing as it is, it's nice. Someone even left their Discord tag here. And I mean, it's very well hidden too, so they know if anyone ever messaged them and say, hey, I found your tag on Sunlight, they know that this person has been running around this burned down forest. Wait, this was a very beautiful experience. Yeah, it was indeed. I don't know how much the game is though. I got it in the Earthquake Relief Bundle. So I paid $30 for a bunch of games, and this was one of them. I gotta look through them and pick some that seemed interesting. Nobody ever really has come here. There are no bouquets in this direction. I assume I have wandered really far out. Yeah, I would say I'm done here for now. That sure was something. Well, where will I take me? To the main menu, I assume? Yeah, it does. Okay. That sure was something. Oh, yeah, so yeah, it really is a Norwegian game. Norwegian Film Institute. Didn't really read the starting screen. I mean, who does that anyway? That was something, that's for sure.